Hello and welcome back everyone, I'm Day-Glo Buffalo and this is Let's Play Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars, the Director's Cut. When we last left off, we had gotten our hands on an ancient manuscript, but now we have to find a way out of the hotel because we can't just walk out the front door because there's two goons waiting outside wanting to take that manuscript off our hands. So I don't know, it's worked every time so far, so why don't we talk to Lady... what was her name again?
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
Tell her about the manuscript.
This is what Merlin was so keen to hide.
Really? Well, that fuss for a sample of wallpaper.
It's some kind of manuscript, and it looks to be very old.
If I was you, I'd keep it well out of sight until you're clear of this place.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I could roll it up and put it down my pants.
No, that wouldn't do at all. You'd attract far too much attention.
Oh yeah, sure, is that a manuscript in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? Maybe we can talk to this guy.
Hello again. Have you ever seen this old manuscript before? You know what it is, don't you?
You are in great danger. Put the manuscript back and leave here.
What's going on?
I can say no more.
So he knows that something's up.
Thanks for your help.
Goodbye.
But, as I said, we can't walk out the front door, so it has to be something with the alley. Because there's just no other way of getting out of here. But how can we get down here? We can't really interact with anything else here. We can't jump onto those trash cans because they're not going to break our fall.
The cobbles of the alleyway looked very distant and very hard.
Maybe these boxes, but I wouldn't be too sure. And we don't have anything in our Oh! Hold on. Maybe we don't need to get down there. We can just maybe throw this down there?
I knew this was no way to treat an ancient manuscript. But I couldn't let it fall into the hands of the goons waiting outside.
Okay, that makes sense. That wasn't so bad after all the terrible puzzles we had in the last part. This was actually fairly logical.
Hold it right there. Search him again, Flap.
Nothing, Guido.
Okay, let him go.
So, now we should be able to get into the alley and grab the manuscript.
If the manuscript was what Flap and Guido were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to Nico's apartment and check it out.
Back in Nico's apartment.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi. Come in, George.
So, well, let's go through everything.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, George.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh, well, did you find anything useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking?
Okay, that was needlessly antagonistic. What's up with that?
Do you have a boyfriend?
Not anymore. There was someone. A guy in my final year, but it didn't work out. Neither did my degree.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Well, I maintain that George is kind of a tool, so
Tell me more about your family.
When I was a little girl, I used to spend the winter with my grandfather and grandma. They were the best times, warm and safe in their tiny cottage. My grandfather rolled cigarettes while grandma made hot chocolate and cakes. One day, he stopped his rolling. He put the lid back on his tobacco jar and took me in his arms. I laughed and wriggled, but he hushed me to be silent. With his unshaven chin all scratchy in my ear, he told me his secret.
What did he say?
He said, "I don't smoke, but she likes to think I do."
What a weird old man.
Don't call my grandfather weird. He was the nicest guy ever. I wish I was back in that cottage instead of this crummy apartment in this noisy city.
Well, it's a pretty big room for Paris. I mean, property values can't be that low, even though she's renting, as far as I know, so probably paying a lot of money for this. So let's go through the stuff that we have, at least the new stuff. Is there any, well, take it from the top.
This is the tool I used to get into the sewers.
Fascinating, George.
Isn't it?
How come you enlarged this photograph of me?
Because I noticed the guy behind you, of course.
No.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I take it he's not gonna want to use that on her.
Hey, Nico, shake hands with me.
No chance, Buster.
Smart girl.
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room. It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue, a name or an address. That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir.
So it's a red herring?
I found this in the killer's room.
What is it, a credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him or the company.
And finally, we get to the big prize.
You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the U-Boot.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh yeah, maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades. This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims, and pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive.
Jeez, so the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping.
Okay, so that cutscene had the music way too loud. But, of course, it was a cutscene, so there's nothing we can do about that. I hope it was discernible. It wasn't always on this end. But, so anyway, we got a quick history lesson on the Knights Templar. And hopefully, or maybe there is a treasure somewhere, but... And that's what the murderers are after.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Okay. So we got this guy, maybe with a trumpet. Either is swallowing a sword that is way too long, or, well, it's a trumpet. And this guy as well. Uh-huh.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Apparently, I was like, he noticed the bull and the sword, but not the big diamond in the middle? No, it might not be a diamond.
There's a guy with a sword between...
Yeah, we already heard that.
There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover? It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
Not where folks live in barrels, where folks sit on barrels. It's very different.
A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again.
By my teaching, you will see the light. Okay.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the wicked queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid. Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either.
Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Krone Museum. I'll give you the address.
So... I guess we're heading out, but are we taking the manuscript with us? Or do we have to get the professor back here?
Are you sure you've never heard of Thomas Merlin?
Positive.
So this is probably just looking at the manuscript again.
Let's take another look.
Yep.
There's a... but the...
Oh, no. We can't back out of this. Because this is not available, so we might have to go through
the night through...
the
There's
whole thing again.
There's a... between...
Yep, here we are.
I
Alright.
have to go.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobino at the Krone Museum.
Will do. Okay, turned out to be an ancient manuscript. So that was what Plantard was killed for, but why? Maybe we already had that. Showed Nico the manuscript. I think she was impressed. How could she not be? She knew right away it was something to do with the Knights Templar, a hugely powerful medieval order with too few horses to go around or something. Yeah. But they had a hidden treasure. Well, apparently not horses. So, Musée Krone. We can go here, or we can go there. I think this might actually take us back to the map. So let's go inside. That is probably the guard. It's not the guy we need to talk to.
In the case was a spindly tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited.
So we're going to Ireland? Okay, not what I expected. You know, maybe if you're in a museum, don't just manhandle the stuff there. What's he gonna do, open the sarcophagus? Yep, he is.
Leave it alone. That closet is over 3,000 years old.
Closet?
Closet? It's a sarcophagus.
Okay. Never take George to a museum. Unless you want to get into lots of trouble. Oh. That just opens the window. Fair enough.
Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
Are you Lobino?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobino does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it that. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Okay, so he's not here.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John Dee at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Wait, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied hard and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Wow, very supportive there.
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is, I am no scholar, not like Monsieur Lobino.
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
John Dee.
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
Okay.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
Okay. That's very sophisticated.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
Fair enough.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh no, I don't frequent places like that.
Maybe we can get access to his electrical grid?
Do you recognize this ID pass? No.
Maybe not.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not while I'm on duty, monsieur.
Can't shake hands while on duty.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not. Do you recognize this red nose?
I don't think so.
What do you make of this tissue?
It is absolutely disgusting, monsieur.
And last but not least,
What does this tool mean to you?
That belongs in a museum.
Pardon?
It is a priceless historical artifact, if I am not mistaken.
No, it's a plain old tool for lifting drain covers.
well, if you didn't tell him that, maybe he could have used it to distract him.
Thanks for your help.
A tripod from the manuscript. It's in the Croon Museum right here in Paris. According to the plaque, it was discovered in Lochmarne, Ireland. Not sure how that helps us, but
As I reached toward the display case, a shrill piping filled the air. I froze, then tried to get myself together and act nonchalantly.
No, monsieur. No, no.
Okay.
worth a try. So does that I think just takes us back outside. Still. Oh. He closes the window once he walks back there. I thought it had something to do with us shaking this thing. Oh.
Watch out! You'll have that done on top of us! Watch out! You'll have that done on top of us!
Okay. He just...
Watch out!
He teleports back to the window. Okay.
Watch out!
What? Why is he here all of a sudden? I'm not sure. I don't know. I thought maybe you could use that for leverage. No, apparently not. So is he just going to stand here? Wait, now we can't open the window again? Oh. No, apparently not. And he's...
Hey, no! No, monsieur. No.
What's wrong?
You must not enter the exhibits.
I'm sorry.
I have no clue what's going on. Oh, okay.
This is ridiculous. I could be here for hours.
So... So he's now just guarding the tripod. Wait, let's see if we can go outside and maybe reset this whole thing. No, he's just standing there. We can't open the window again. Can't talk to him anymore. I am fairly confused. Not to say thoroughly.
Hi. I've been to the Croon Museum.
Did you speak to Lobineau?
No, he wasn't there.
Well, I guess. Let's go through these dialogue options.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
No, we already did that. I don't want to do that. Damn it.
There's but the reflect.
Okay. Out of that.
Have you found out any more about the murders?
Well, it may be nothing, but both the clan's victims visited Paris earlier this year.
When?
The second week of July. They were both here at the same time.
Did they meet?
I don't know, but I can't imagine it was coincidence.
Didn't one of the crypto quotes reference July?
I found the tripod.
Where?
In the museum. It belonged to the Templars. It was dug up in Ireland at a place called Loch Marn.
I have heard of Loch Marn. I read an article about the castle. Take a look for yourself.
A popular gossip magazine. You read that rubbish?
No, I write it.
Professor Nigel Pegram, excavating the medieval castle at Loch Marn. That's strange.
What?
He resigned his chair at Durham University in order to devote his time to the excavation. Not only that, but he canceled the filming of a 4th series of his popular television program. This site at Loch Marn must be awful important to him.
He's a professor of history. They're all cuckoo.
All the same, I'd like to talk to this Professor Pegram. How do you feel about a trip to Ireland?
Disappointed.
Huh?
That I won't be going. I want to follow up the Belota case. If you really think Pegram's dam is important, why don't you visit Loch Marn?
On my own? I'm not so sure about that. Where is Ireland exactly?
Okay. Guess he didn't study a whole lot of geography. So this will probably just take us back to looking at the whole thing, and this doesn't help us.
That is not a good idea.
Okay.
I have to go.
Okay, I'll see you later.
So, are we going to Ireland now? Oh. I guess we are. Just, on a whim. Hey, off to Ireland. Does make sense, though. Come on. A few hours later.
I passed the castle on the way into Loch Marn. The castle where Pegram's excavation was located.
And here we are in Ireland, apparently. Ireland. The Loch Marn Gem. Loch Marn. What a beautiful village. Nico and I must really be onto something here. Ancient manuscripts, the Knights Templar, and a tripod from a medieval manuscript. All I need is the gem that goes with it. I'm sure he'll be just happy to part with it and give it to you. We'll start by asking the locals about Pegram and his dig. That sounds like a pretty good plan, but what's with the change in music all of a sudden? Anyway, we're going to do that in the next part. So for now, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like or a comment below. Subscribe to stay up to date, and I will see you in the next part. So until then, have a good one.